In today's video, we are going to look at the predictions of one of the contrarian investors called David Hunter. He's a contrarian macro strategist with over 50 years of experience in Wall Street. He has worked for institutions like Fidelity Investment in past. We will go through the thesis that he has presented, based on which he sees the gold value soaring as high as $20,000 per ounce or rupees 50,000 per gram by 2030. Let me present you the thesis based on which he makes these predictions. Point number one that he says as part of this thesis is highly leveraged economies across the world. Leverage, in simple terms, you can think of having 10 rupees with you, but you are using 20 rupees to generate some returns. That extra 10 rupees is called as leverage. Like this, at present, the total global debt stands at around $320 trillion. David Hunter predicts that this debt cannot be repaid easily unless a lot of money printing happens. Again, money printing will lead to depreciation in value of currency. Point number two of his thesis is financial crisis. A financial crisis worse than 2008 and 9 could unfold. He predicts that many banks in US could go bankrupt. We saw a small glimpse of it in 2023 with Silicon Valley Bank and First Republic Bank when they did not have enough money to pay back when the customers wanted to take their money out. He expects a lot of banks could fail like this in the upcoming years due to financial crisis. Point number three of his thesis, economic downturns. He predicts that a lot of fragile economies that could be seeing bad times ahead, which would result in stock market downturns. When there is an economic crisis, he sees many countries will start printing more money, which will result in currency depreciation. So every time people see the value of currency going down, they will try to invest in safer assets like gold, which can result in increased gold prices. Point number four of his thesis, some of the important regions like Europe, Canada, and Australia could fail due to high leverages. He also predicts that there could be problems that could start showing up slowly in China, like the real estate market crash in the recent time, which has already pushed people in China losing trust over their currency, and they have started to buy more gold to preserve the value of their savings. Point number five of his thesis. During COVID pandemic, in order to help in easing the situation, US printed more than $5 trillion, dollars, which means more money is in circulation, which are chasing goods, which will eventually result in inflation. Let me explain this with an example. Imagine 10 people are having $100, all are trying to buy a t-shirt, but there are only 6 t-shirts that are manufactured, each costing $75. All 10 people want at least one t-shirt. Now what happens, since the demand is more, the shopkeeper will sell it to those who are willing to pay more, which means increase in prices resulting in higher inflation. Point number 6 of his thesis, stock market meltdowns, which can bring down the markets as much as 80% from its highs. To ease the pressure of market downturns, it would require another $20 trillion dollars to be printed. Remember, the point number 5, we talked about printing of $5 trillion dollars in order to ease the situation during COVID pandemic. This $20 trillion dollars additional infusion could lead to hyperinflation of up to 25%. The pace of increase in inflation could be something like this. The inflation could go to high single digits during 2026 and 2027. And by end of this decade, the inflation in US could reach as high as 25%. The final point presented as part of his thesis is high inflation will lead to a huge commodity supercycle. As a result of excessive money printing, hyperinflation, stock market downturns, and global economic bursts, we will see a start of a commodity supercycle. Commodities like gold, silver, copper, and oil will see a huge uptrend. As a result of this, commodities like gold could go as high as $20,000 per ounce or 50,000 rupees per gram. For more such interesting content, consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching.